Just went through tunnel view, come out the tunnel right there. And that's what you come out to. Very touristy here, makes sense. Try to find somewhere where there's not a bunch of people. I'm off the beaten path over here a little bit. There's like a path up behind me. There's the parking lot. Pretty much the same view, it's just there's nobody up here. There's 1,000 people down there.
Wait, you're probably wondering how I got here. Let's back up for a sec.
We got in kind of late last night. We ended up staying in some BLM outside of Yosemite. It's like in the Sierra National Forest. Pretty cool little spot. I'm like 10 miles outside the entrance and I'm blind. It's just a little pull off with a fire pit. There's a spot over there too. There's like a little road that connects these spots. I didn't see anyone here though. I'm probably like a mile in off the main road. And this is like a off-road vehicle path out here. I saw a bunch of like people in dirt bikes and four-wheelers and stuff out here. It's pretty cool though. It was on iOverlander. iOverlander is great for when you need to find a spot out in the middle of nowhere. That's pretty much the only time I ever use it anymore. But pretty cool little spot. We're pretty tree surrounded here, so there's not the greatest views. Sunset wasn't that great, so I didn't really film anything last night. I just chilled out. I ended up spending most of my day in Fresno at Walmart. I got new tires yesterday. 4 brand new tires. My tires were on about 50,000 miles, so it was about time to get them done. It ended up taking like 4 or 5 hours to do it because I didn't have an appointment, so I didn't leave Fresno until the afternoon. But we're heading into Yosemite. I need to figure out where I need to go. I think I'm gonna go to the visitor center first. And yeah, I haven't really put too much thought into what I want to see. I want to see Half Dome and El Cap. And other than that, I think there's like a waterfall that's supposed to be pretty cool. Let's head into the park and go to the visitor center and get a better idea of what today's gonna look like. Just got into Yosemite through the south entrance. I didn't see a sign. I was kind of disappointed. I always like to get me a little shot at the entrance sign. I'm sure there's one somewhere. I'll find one. But I stopped at this little general store. There's like a little lodge and gas and stuff over here. Cool little store. I bought a sticker. Let's head on in a little bit further. I would imagine there's much better places to go than this store. It's a little dinky store. Let's hit it. What a freaking view. I believe I could sit here the rest of the day. Got a waterfall, huge valley full of trees, massive rock faces. This is what I imagined when I thought about coming here. Let's head back down. It was a pretty easy trek to get up here. Should be pretty easy to get back down. Just gotta go down that way. Probably should have wore shoes. Might have been a little bit easier. This is really the only part that I'm slightly worried about. It's just a little bit of slick rock, but even if I slide down, it's 5 foot and then I hit a flat area, so it's not a big deal. You just slide down on my butt. Easy. And then just right down there, and then there's the parking lot is right there. I'll sit down in some water. If that's the worst thing that happens to me today, I'll be in pretty good shape. This is the view I just had up there. I was like up in here. Look how many people you got to compete with here though. Glad I went up there. Oh, yes, sir. On to the next one. We just got up here to this waterfall. Bridal Veil Fall. It's the one you can see from tunnel. I'm throw on some shoes, so if I do an impromptu hike, I'm not in Crocs. Let's go get a closer look. Heading to the top. I don't know if you can actually go to the top. Well, I doubt you can go to the top. It's way up there, but going to just a viewpoint over here. Time for a break. Found this cool little natural bench. Pretty cool. Well, that was cool, along with everything else in this park. It's almost lunchtime. I'm gonna find somewhere to park up and eat something. Let's keep moving. Heading back to the car. It's pretty hilarious. These people would rather drive around for like 30 minutes and wait for somebody to pull out and get a spot than just park right here. I guess right now there's not a lot of spots there. When I pulled in, there was nobody there. I mean, there's one. I mean, there's a spot right there. And these people are just sitting in traffic. Gotta love the laziness of people. Would rather sit in traffic and drive in a circle for 30 minutes than walk 50 extra feet. Let's go eat. I had no idea I was literally right next to El Cap. This is the main thing I wanted to see in this entire park. So I'm just gonna pull off over here in the El Cap little gathering area, fix up my food. I'm just gonna eat some chicken and some apples or something and just hang out here and stare at this big boy. Oh. El Cap is nuts, man. It's hard to believe that people climb this freaking rock, man. This is the El Capitan Meadow. This place has an insane 360 view. Check this out. I was just filming El Cap and I was eating an apple and I set it down next to my tripod while I was filming. And this bird flew up right next to me and like walked up to me and like looked at me. I was like, "You want this?" And I tossed it out to him and he's eating away. There he goes. He's gonna take it with him. Trying to find him a good dinner spot. I think he's hiding it. Is he hiding it in there for later? He is. Look at him. He's covering it up with grass and stuff. That's hilarious. The next stop was Yosemite Village and Yosemite Falls. You have to walk through this residential area over here. This is where like all the employees of Yosemite live. to get to the falls. It looks like this is the base for the lower Yosemite Trail. And also looks like a hike for Mirror Lake. I'm gonna be honest, I am totally not prepared to do any kind of hike right now. I have no water. I'm already thirsty. I really didn't intend on going for a hike. I didn't bring anything. We're not gonna do it because I don't want to get stuck up here with no supplies or no nothing. So we're just gonna head back down, see if we can get a good shot of the waterfall from like over here. Let's go check that out. Imagine this was your backyard. Museum. Let's go check this out. It's pretty cool. It's got the 923. This line is when the Vikings arrived. This line is Genghis Khan. Da Vinci paints the Mona Lisa. Taj Mahal. Declaration of Independence. Mariposa Battalion enters Yosemite. President Lincoln signs the Yosemite Grant. Kind of really gives you some perspective of like the Declaration of Independence to now is like that much of it. I talked to the lady working in that museum for a bit. She was really cool. She said she was a 4th generation person from here. She lives in the park, has lived here her whole life. She was probably like 60 and 4th generation. So her parents and grandparents and great grandparents were all from here too. It's pretty awesome. I didn't realize that this place had like a community like that. Most national parks are really not like that. They're just, all nature. There might be a little mini community where like rangers live, but not like an actual community where, generations of people have lived. So that's pretty awesome, actually. She was super cool. Glad I talked to her. I didn't really want to film her. I'm still really weird about filming people, especially like, clearly you wouldn't want to film someone without asking them, but I still feel kind of weird even asking them, but it's something I just got to get over. Post office. It's kind of cool. And I guess you need a post office if you have a community. It's called an exploration center. Yeah, the cap. Got all the different types of granite. Tutakanula. What happened to the other half of Half Dome? Oh, there never was another half. Tricky, tricky. Where's all the waterfalls? That's the one from Tunnel View, and that's the one right behind us here. Wow. 8,000 years ago. That's crazy. This is pretty neat. Describe or draw a place that is special to you. What do you do to protect it? The little post-it notes. Half Dome. Death Valley. Oh. New Zealand. That's cool. Lake Tahoe. People from all over. The Earth. I like that guy. That guy's got it figured out. How about let's just protect it all? New York. Tells like what sections have what wildlife here. Hey, these little squirrels live up at 10,000 foot elevation. Mm, 9,500 plus. The pika. This looks like a little rat. There it is. The pika. Cute little rat, actually. Just talking about the sequoias. A cool little painting. Looks like the general. Yeah. Lightning strikes in Yosemite in 1 year. Pretty much everywhere. Man, 1869. That's neat. It shows like the handholds that the climbers use. Look at that. 2-finger hold. Yeah, that's cool. Using both hands back to back. Old school tools. This shows all the routes on El Cap. Pretty cool. Like here's all the starting points down at the bottom. And they have like each individual like routes. I didn't realize how many there was. Look how big this thing is. It's crazy. Alex Honnold climbed this thing with no ropes. Oh, he's on this little thing here. Sorry, there's a little glare from the light. Warren Harding, Royal Robbins, Charlie Potter, Bev Johnson, Jim Bridwell, Lynn Hill, Tommy Caldwell, and Alex Honnold. It's 2017. First person to free solo El Cap.
I've been doing this thing where I do as minimal research as possible before going to a park. Figuring things out as I go just makes the experience so much more raw. And honestly, what surprised me the most is how alive Yosemite felt. There's a whole community here I didn't even know existed. I feel like I barely scratched the surface of this place. I'd love to come back here one day. But for now, it's on to the next one.